are excited tomorrow night to celebrate Silver Bells here in the Capitol. And every year when we get ready to light the state tree, questions always arise about how long we've had a tree, what colors we've used, where it came from. And so as the Capitol's historian, I decided to look into this and see what I could find out. And it actually turns out to be a little more complicated than it seems at first. We started lighting a state Christmas tree officially back in 1987. This was Governor Blanchard's idea. He had been to Rockefeller Center the year before, was impressed by the tree there, and as part of the state's sesquicentennial celebration, he wanted to place a tree here on Capitol Square. And we partnered with the city of Lansing as part of Silver Bells and have had that tradition ever since. As best I can tell, the first tree that was actually on Capitol Square was probably here about 1913. It was actually placed by the city of Lansing. And for decades, the city had a smaller tree that was here on Capitol Square. They worked with the state, of course, to put it up. And this tree was generally harvested from the Lansing area. The city parks department would procure the tree, would put it up, and people would come downtown for the lighting. They'd sing Christmas carols. It was a really great tradition over the years. But it actually, for a few years, moved off Capitol Square. In the late 1960s, when they were developing the pedestrian mall down on Washington Avenue by Washington and Michigan, they actually relocated the tree to that intersection for a few years. So it wasn't until the early 1970s when the tree came back to Capitol Square. And when the state decided it was going to put up a much bigger tree in 1987, that was the end of the local city tree. But when you think about it, those trees have in many ways served the same function over the years. One of the best ways to find information about Silver Bells is actually to look through newspapers. The event always gets statewide coverage when the tree is cut down. And of course, the trees come from all over the state. This year, our tree is actually from the Lower Peninsula, which is a little unusual. Most trees come from the UP, and they come from big towns, from small towns. Some have actually come from state land over the years. And wherever the tree comes from, there's always some sort of celebration to mark it. So, for example, we have had some trees from the Capitol area. This article actually talks about a tree from Grand Ledge. We've had a couple from Grand Ledge. We had one from Meridian Township. And the tree actually is normally harvested in October. And it's brought down to the Capitol late October, early November, because it takes a couple weeks to actually put it in place, to get the lights on, to make sure everything's looking good. Here we have some color photographs of the tree. These are mostly from the 2000s. In fact, if you look at these little snapshots, this was actually the 2000 tree that we did, and we hung a special little lighted ornament on it that marked the year. Other pictures that you see here are going to date from the early 2000s, and of course the colors on the tree change every year. And that's part of the fun, is to see what colors will be showcased that year. I remember as a kid coming to Lansing every year to see the tree, and just the sense of excitement as we would turn on to Michigan Avenue and start to drive up closer to the Capitol. And I remember always being so excited because, of course, the closer you get, the bigger the tree gets. And I remember as a kid thinking, that's my Christmas tree. And that's the special thing about it. This tree, just like the Capitol building and Capitol Square, belong to every single person in Michigan. So we would invite you to come down, join us for Silver Bells, and if you can't make that, come down sometime in the month of December and see your tree here on Capitol Square.
It's that time of the year. The Silver Bells Electric Light Parade airs live Friday night at 6 on Fox 47. Broadcast sponsors are Spartan Motors and Delta Dental. The Silver Bells Electric Light Parade